Me to
What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday evening. Welcome on into another exciting, fun episode of Dbacks Dispatch here with your full team as we got the three hosts on the screen as you see. Brandon to, I guess, on your left, Gabe on your right, and me in the center, Brett, with our man Josh, our lovely producer behind the ones and twos, making the magic happen. So we are here to talk some spring training fun once again with you guys as we are now fully immersed into the spring training action. We got split squad actions. We got rainouts, which the only time you're going to see D-backs games getting rained out is in spring training.
I think it was
except for
the
last
only
year.
game, by the way. That was so
Yeah,
weird to me.
it's the only time, and that's one of the things that makes me go, wow, I love having a roof stadium, and it makes it so much nicer. We never have to deal with this, to where it's just kind of something we never have to deal with, never used to it. But if this is your first time here on D-backs Dispatch, welcome in. Appreciate you spending your free time here on Friday evening, or even if you're listening to this after the fact, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, next week, whatever it is. Appreciate you spending the time to listen to us just talk some Snakes ball. If this again is your first time in here, make sure you guys click the description, join the Discord. We got a bunch of people in the Discord. It's always popping off. Every kind of channel you can imagine. If you're looking for prospect talk, animal, photos to show your furry friends in there. If you want to talk, game day discussions. If you have like stuff you want to self promote yourself as well, tons of stuff in there. Discord is where you want to be. Follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky. A bunch of banger memes. Gabe and Josh are always cooking up some heaters on there. Make sure you guys also go check out everything over on azsnakepit.com. Tons of great articles every single day, every single week, especially. Like, they're just churning out constant content. We have a few of the writers over from the Snake Pit in our Discord as well. Shout out you, Jeff. I know you're always listening. So again, make sure you guys go over, check out the great stuff on AZ Snake Pit. But we are here. There's been a few D-backs games. Would have been 4, but there were 3 D-backs games that happened since you guys last saw us on Tuesday, which, hey, don't worry. My alarm clock was set. I was here for this one. We don't have to worry about that. Game 1, we'll just kind of jump into everything here. So the first one that happened ever since we were last live on Tuesday, the D-backs were facing the San Francisco Giants, and they were taken down in a score of 11-5. The D-backs did put up 5 runs in the first, but that was all that they would end up scoring. Gabby hit a 456-foot 3-run cock rocket at 110 miles an hour off the bat. Jake and Alec both had RBI extra base hits, Jake having a double, Alec having a triple. Jake's double was 106.1 exit velocity. Alex was 103, so both absolutely hard hit baseballs as well. Brandon Fott did get roughed up there. He did give up a run in the first and then could not survive the second. He went an inning and a third with 6 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 2 strikeouts. His spring ERA, again, very small sample size, but is up to 8.10 in just 3 1/3 innings pitched. Kyle Nelson was also roughed up as well. He has not had the best spring training as he goes 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and another home run, his third of spring given up. His ERA, again, short sample size, especially for pitchers. Nothing too crazy for red alarms going off, but his spring ERA is up to 13.50. Definitely not what you want to see for a guy that you're looking to hopefully break into the bullpen. But like I said, 2 of the names I talked about in at least the good part of the first inning there for the D-backs. As our topic for game 1 here is the great Jake and Alec debate. So again, in Wednesday versus Giants, Jake went 3 for 3 with that double. He's now batting .320 with a 826 OPS in 25 spring at bats. And Alec is 1 for 3 with a triple in this game. He's I think batting like .250 now, so he's not as hot as Jake, but he's at least getting that average up there. Again, all this in very small sample size, so nothing to be crazy about, but we like to point it out. So my question to you fellas, as well as anybody in the chat that's listening, again, appreciate each and every single one of you guys if you are joining us here live in the chat and whatnot, this is actually a question that our lovely producer, again, Josh, cooked up. This is a banger. He wants us to ask and wants to know about you guys is, given the Diamondbacks' need for a reliable closer, should they consider trading Jake McCarthy, who has demonstrated consistent offensive performance and base stealing prowess, or Alec Thomas, known for his exceptional defensive skills but facing challenges at the plate? I know it's been kind of something that we've talked about a bunch, especially throughout the offseason and all that. But I am curious to see what your guys' opinions are. So, Gabe, start with you as always. What are your thoughts on the great Jake versus Alec debate?
So for me, I've always valued defense a lot more, just because depending on how your pitcher is doing, like a lot of times you might have to bail them out, and we've seen time and time and again the way Alec is just able to bail out pitchers who are struggling. I mean, I know there was a one game in a couple years ago. Yeah, I went with Brandon that Paul Sewald was pitching, and then I think Corey Seager just hit a freaking rocket to right center, and Alec just made the most incredible catch. And that's just something he does. He does the easy plays, and he makes the hard plays, look easy enough as well. And I think that's something that we really suffered with last year. Like I believe Jake got nominated for a Gold Glove as well, but just Alec is just so much better. Like I said, he's just the way he plays the balls off the wall as well. I think it's something that's very underrated. He knows when to turn it around. He knows when to play it off the hop. He's just an incredible outfielder, and I think he struggled defensively, but I think it's gonna even out a bit just because if you look at spring, I know it's spring, but the exit velocities off of his hits, even though some of them have been ground balls, but they're starting to even out a little bit more. He's starting to go for doubles and triples now. But they're all well over 100 miles an hour. Everything is 105, 106. I believe one was like 110. He's in, I believe, the top 10 or was in the top 10 exit velocities of the spring so far. I don't know if that's still the case, but he was for a bit. It's going to even out at some point. I think we just have to be a little bit patient. I mean, he was injured last year. He was starting to barrel up the ball a lot, and he got injured, and then it's just a setback. And so for me, I would rather keep Alec and hope that he's able to become at least a 250 hitter. We don't need him to be Barry Bonds, but we just need somebody who's able to patrol center field and just make it a steel trap back there and just make it impossible for anything to fall down. And some of this bullpen can be a little bit fly ball reliant. So having him out there is going to help out this team a lot. And I love Jake, but he's also, I believe, coming into his age 28 season opposed to Alec coming into his age 25 season. So I think you would prefer to have the youth in this case because, again, he's not in his prime technically yet. So again, I would prefer Alec, and then if we get a closer like Helsley or whatever. So I mean, like I said, sometimes you got to let go of your darlings to get a guy like that. So we were able to get Helsley or any other closer for Jake or even for Alec. It's going to hurt, but we saw the future the other day. There's Drew Jones, so it's not like this team is going to be lacking in center fielders anytime soon.
Yeah, speaking of that Alec catch, I believe it was actually Semien that hit that ball in center field that he made that great catch. But we're forever. Right. We're always just forever going to be triggered with Paul Sewald and Corey Seager. It's going to be burning into our brains probably even until I'm 70. But you do make a good point. Obviously, Jake still a great player. Has shown a little more consistency. But even in those clips that our lovely producer Josh was playing, you can definitely see that Alec just has a little bit more pop in the bat. It seems like when he can barrel it up, even if he's hitting it in the ground, he's hitting it super hard. Just sometimes might not get as lucky, but when he is on, he is hitting rockets. Where Jake, still a good player, but it seems like he gets a lot of dink and dunks, a lot of kind of luckier, maybe not as expected batting average on one of those stats would probably be a little bit lower on a lot of the hits that he gets. Just because, again, probably gets a little bit lucky here and there, but it is a tough decision. I think my personal take is I agree with you on that one. I'd rather keep Alec, but at the same time, maybe we can keep both if we do have the internal options step up. Maybe we can get Shelby Miller or Kendall Graveman to really fill in and be a pivotal piece in that bullpen, along with a guy like Dre Jameson, to where it really does let Justin Martinez or AJ Puck officially slot into that closer role. So then it's kind of best of both worlds where we get the closer that we want or need for the season, but also don't have to worry about giving up either one because no matter who you trade, I feel like both of them could come back to bite you in the ass down the line and be a really stellar player for a different team. But Brandon, same question to you. Do you think that Jake and his consistency is something that's more valuable and something that you want to hold on to if they did end up making a trade with one of these guys to bring in a back end arm, or do you think that Alec is the one, like we've even talked about before? Oh, it looked like he jumped out for a second. I guess I can keep going on here, but once he gets back in, I'll ask him the same thing. There we go. He's back in. Do you think it's Alec, him, and his glove, as we've
now
said
I can't
before?
hear you guys. Wait.
We're struggling. Okay, don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties here. It is, again, it's one of those where we talked about it a bunch in the offseason. It is curious to me, especially hearing, apparently, I think Gambo said on the whatever radio show that I always forget the name, Arizona Sports, something like that. He was saying that apparently the D-backs aren't done making offseason moves, so maybe this could be something like that. Like maybe they're still looking for a little bit of additional bullpen help. Again, it seems like that's with even adding Shelby Miller pretty early/late into the offseason, going into spring training, and then even adding like Kendall Graveman. Seems like they're always willing to kind of see what they can get out of everybody, see what the most they can get in those positional battles, especially out of the bullpen, because even like I said, Kyle Nelson and Kyle Backus, I know their lefties are a little bit different than and like they're pitchers rather than outfielders with Jake and Alec. There's always going to be a positional battle that they're going to want to have these players push their absolute best to. They want to see exactly what they can do in battle, and maybe the competition kind of brings out the best in them. So I guess while we wait for Brandon to get in here, any other maybe things that might be overlooked a little bit with one of these guys' games, like maybe there's something with Jake, like I know obviously you said he's a little bit older, and then Alec, like do you think he can fully figure it out? Oh, there he is. All right, Brandon, can you hear us? We good to go?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you, good sir.
Okay.
We are all good. All right, so kind of same question to you. Obviously, I don't know if you heard it at the very end there before. You're having a few issues. Do you think that Jake and his consistency is a little bit more needed for this team in their future, or do you think that Alec's defense is going to be kind of what keeps him around, especially what we've seen him do, or do you think there's a world where we can kind of keep both of them and let the internal options be our saving grace for the bullpen?
For me, it depends on who are we trying to get. Like, are we trying to get someone like Pete Fairbanks? Then I'm okay with it. We trying to go and get, I feel like we have hit this horse to death, Ryan Helsey. Like, if that's the case, then I'm fine with either one, really. And I think we're all in agreement. I think we all value Alec's defense so much because it is such a game changer in that outfield. Like, I get Jake is faster, but I think Alec is, no offense, he is a league's better defender than Jake. And kind of like Gabe said, we don't need him to hit 280, 290. Like, if he hits, for me personally, if he hits at minimum 220, I think that is enough. His defense is just that good, in my opinion, that if he can hit, obviously, I would love for him to hit 250. Like, for me, if he can hit that 250 mark and give you, because I feel like he has more pop than Jake, but I think Jake is a better overall hitter because I think Jake can go to all fields. He's got that chaos on the bases. Now, it's not that Alec isn't fast. It's just I feel like that's not one of his top strengths. His range is unbelievable. Like Gabe said, the game we were at against the Texas Rangers, Marcus Semien, literally, Alec is in left center. And Semien hits it all the way to like right in front of the pool. I think that's the best defensive play he's ever made in his entire career, in my opinion. Like, that play was absolutely insane. And then we have this play. The play that most people, when they think Alec Thomas, they think 2023 NLCS, taking the ride of his life. So I think it was really, really great. Jake is my problem with Jake is he's so inconsistent offensively. Like sometimes he'll look like he's like the third or fourth or best hitter on our team, and then he goes and we can see why they they probably can't get a lot for him because they'll see and he'll has these stretches where he doesn't look good. I still think that they missed their opportunity, and I think it was 22 to sell high on Jake. It was 21 or 22, whichever season were like the last
Versus
2 months.
22.
The last 2 months, like he was like you could not get that dude out. You could not get him out. So I don't know. Like I want to keep both to be honest because I like our internal options. You got J Mart, you got Ginkle, you got Puck, and the name we all keep forgetting because he hasn't pitched in a year and a half is Dre Jameson. Everybody, Dre Jameson might actually be the best out of all of them, which is so crazy to think about. Like from what we've seen in spring, Dre is ready to go. Dre is so ready to go. That's my pick. Don't trade either.
There was literally
Yeah.
an entire song made out of about it about forgot about Dre, and we all forgot
Yeah.
about Dre.
Yeah, so I have a couple of things about that. I mean, the first part, I believe Red Sox Nation, she mentions that she feels that Alec and Corbin are more in tune with each other, which I hope 100% agree with. I think there's a lot of issues with that, especially at this around August or so in September. There's a lot of balls hit to the wall that Jake would just barrel into the wall and they would score runs or whatever. And it just seemed like they were all out of sorts and Jake would just, go in head first to any ball around him. Like I said, like he just doesn't have the same awareness as Alec to know when to turn around to play it off a hop or off the wall. And it seemed like maybe the other outfielders like Gurriel and Corbin didn't know either. So they both would try to back up the play, but then you would see the ball bounce off the wall and Jake would be, stuck on the wall because he just barreled into it. And then the ball would just roll halfway through center field and then finally picked it up and it would be a triple. And I think with Alec, if he doesn't think he's gonna get a play off of it and he's gonna take a weird hop, it seems like they all know. I don't know if he says something or there's a certain signal that he throws out to let them know, hey, I'm not getting this. And they all seem to be aware of that. And so I think there's a certain chemistry and they all play with each other out there to the point where it just seems like they know where everybody is at every certain moment. So I don't know, maybe Jake is just quieter. So they don't hear him calling people off or whatever it is. But I felt like there was more issues last year with Jake in the middle instead of Alec. And I felt like there's a lot of games we could have won if we had Alec out there too.
Giant series
And the
like
Giant
that.
series.
Giant series.
And then there's also the I also want to bring up. I know we're talking about the playoffs. For me, one of like his big plays, I believe he came in as a pinch runner in the game against Milwaukee when Longo he hit a double, and Alec just took off like right off the bat. You could see like the low view on him, like just crossing third base and just
I think that was against the
sprinting.
Phillies. I think that was in the NLCS. The clip of in the bases where you see him.
Yeah,
I
it
think
might
it's
have
at
been
home. Yeah,
might have had it been twice then. Because I remember it being Milwaukee, but obviously I could be misremembering. It could be the
I think you
Mandela
could be
effect.
correct, honestly.
It could be both, but yeah, it's just like I said, I'd rather have the defense. I think we have enough firepower that we can put up with Alex, so-called lack of defense. But I mean, he takes really good pitches as well. It's not like he's a complete zero out there either.
Yeah, I fully agree. It'll be kind of a fun thing, obviously, as we get closer and closer to spring or opening day, as we I believe are less than 20 days, or we're actually about at 20 days away from spring training. Yes, on the 27th of this month, we have real baseball starting. Hope to see you guys there because I know I'll be there. But speaking of some positional battles, topic 2 that we had here for game 1, whose Kyle is it anyway? As both left-handed options, there aren't many. Obviously, we got AJ Puck and we got Joe Mantiply as seemingly being the guys that are going to automatically slot in the bullpen. I mean, Puck, obviously, Mantiply, he's like the Merrill Kelly of the bullpen. He is the mainstay. the guy that's just going to be there for pretty much the entire time. I always feel like, but because both of them have struggled so far, Kyle Nelson, as I mentioned earlier, given up 3 long balls this year, just in the short outings in spring, and then Kyle Backus hasn't really done too much better. His ERA is just over 11 again. Both of them in super short, super short times there. But the question that I had for you guys, and then we'll kind of highlight some of the comments and stuff that we have here in the chat afterwards. But my question that I have to you guys is reliable left-handed pitching is tough to come by in the MLB in general, especially coming out of the bullpen. With both Nelson and Backus kind of struggling so far, again, short sample size, but still struggling. Do you see either of them in making the MLB pen, or are Mantiply and Puck going to be our only left-handed pen options to start the year, with maybe one of those working out their kinks in Reno and then getting a mid-season call-up?
I don't think either of these guys is going to make it. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to rely on Mantiply and Puck. I will say, with how good guys like Jamar and Dinko have been, and we still have to see about Dre, but these are guys who can get left-handers out. It's not like they get dominated by lefties either. So I think they're willing to put up with it, at least for now, if these guys are struggling to get their command. Because I believe Kyle Nelson was injured, right? So,
Yes.
so he's still coming back from an injury. Backus, I'm not sure. He might be a little young still. But again, if there's any sort of trade to be done with the left-hander, if the left-hander emerges, again, I think I'd rather wait until August or to the trade deadline to make that sort of move. But as of now, I don't think any of these guys are going to make it. And like I said, I think with how good this bullpen is, even though it is a little right-handed heavy, I think any of these guys are able to get the left-handers of the league out as well. So, I mean, when you have a guy throwing 103 miles an hour off the pen and with just crazy movement, I would trust that guy against a lefty and a righty.
Yeah, so that's a good point. It's at least we have enough guys that can kind of get both ends of the bullpen, or both ends of the plate out. We don't have to really necessarily go to a lefty specialist, which is unfortunate because Kyle Nelson, when Hazen got him off, I believe he got him off waivers from the Guardians. So a little unfortunate that he's kind of struggled a little bit. I know his start to the Dbacks, he was really solid. He was one of the, him and Mantiply, obviously, before we got Puck, were our really only 2 lefty options. So it is unfortunate to see, especially I know we talked about Backus a bunch with Riley, aka Nugget, our prospect genius himself, a little bit going into in spring, looking at the non-roster invitees. So it is unfortunate to see him struggle a little bit. But I'm kind of on the same page as you. I do think that we're going to see probably both of them down in Reno, with just Mantiply and Puck rocking it out, and then again maybe we do see a mid-April to May call up. You never know. Again, bullpen pitchers, this whole thing with them, sometimes they can be pretty fickle. One little injury, they could be out, miss a week or two, and you're going to need to call somebody up, something like that. So we'll kind of have to wait to see. But Brandon, same question to you. Do you see either of these Kyles making it to the MLB opening day roster, or do you think that we're only going to be exiting spring training with the 2 of Mantiply and Puck?
Yeah, we're only having 2. Come on. Let's be serious. I don't think you need more than 2 lefties out of the pen. Just trying to think here. So we're probably going to come out with 12, 13 pitchers. You got your 5 starters. So 7 to 8 relief pitchers. Ginkel, Mantiply, Martinez, Puck, Thompson. That's 5 right there. And I think there's other. I personally want Dre. To start the season, and I just, with a lefty, I don't feel, especially these 2, I just don't feel confident in having them come in because they're lefty specialists. They're going to be facing, it's going to be medium to high leverage situations. I've never been big on Kyle Nelson. He's had moments where he looked really dominant, but also he's coming off a injury. He missed I think 90% of the season. I think he got hurt in April or May. So he's been out for a while. And it's not like any of our right-handed, like Gabe said, it's not like our right-handed relief pitchers are horrible against lefties. And really, with the way that the rules are now, I don't think a lefty specialist is really something that you're gonna have. Like Puck destroys everybody. So we know that. So, and it's not like you don't see a lot of managers like late in games like make pinch hitting situations for is like, oh, he's got a lefty, let me use a they it's just not a thing because of the whole 3 batter minimum rule. And then also like actually I don't has Bryce Jarvis pitched at all in spring?
I believe he pitched in the game the other night. I believe last night
Okay.
he did pitch.
Okay. And then I to be honest, I'd rather have Yilber Diaz in the pen over these two Kyles, personally. Because he has 2 really good pitches. That's all you need as a relief pitcher. So if they want to try him out there or do what we've all been, not Kyle Nelson, but Ryan Nelson, be in the pen. I would rather do that. We have our high leverage guy in Puck, and then we have our medium, sometimes high leverage guy in Mantiply. So I personally get ready to learn Reno, gentlemen, because that's where you're going.
Yeah, say Jarvis has pitched in 3 games so far this spring. Nothing too crazy. He does have a 6 ERA with a 2.33 WHIP. So he is definitely not making the.
We have Graveman as well, and I believe he's been injured. So
Yeah, and then Shelby Miller, like
Shelby,
there's
he's been looking very good too. Yeah, I brought up the high leverage guys, or the guys who I think we're going to be high leverage. So these are the righties. So these are the splits. J-Mart against lefties, he has a 221 average against with a 652 OPS. Against righties, 221 average. So it's the exact same average, which is crazy. But with the 571 OPS. So it is higher against lefties, but 652 OPS overall is incredibly low. Ginkle, 259 average and 709 OPS against lefties. Against righties, 253 with a 674 OPS. Dre, 267 against lefties with the 712 OPS. And against righties, 253 average and 795 OPS. So overall, these are incredibly low numbers for guys who are going to be facing. And like Brandon said, this isn't just like a lefty specialist anymore. You're going to have to face lefties or righties depending on the 3-batter minimum rule. So these guys have shown that they're able to get out lefties and righties. So I don't think there's a reason why we need to bring in a guy like Kyle Nelson or Backus, who I believe don't throw over 92 or 93 miles an hour from the left side either. So if these guys are showing again that they're able to dominate lefties, and I don't see a point to either of them being, a primary target. Like again, we have Graveman, we still have Shelby, like we still have guys in the bullpen that can pick up the slack.
Yes, even as Jeff's saying too, especially kind of saying on the bullpen topic, that Shelby has a leg up over Jameson since Jameson has options, and if Shelby doesn't make the roster, he can opt out, which he will, which is a good point. If Miller, especially because with the Dre having like 500 something days in between facing batters, I wouldn't be surprised if they do want to give him a little bit more time to kind of face a few more batters, really get his confidence and some of his arm built back up. Not like I feel like he's going to get hurt, but still one of those where it's. Good point is if the guy has options, one guy doesn't, and they're both basically playing the same, maybe you go with the guy on the MLB roster that doesn't have options because you can always cut him if he's not doing too good and then bring up the young guy and still have other options and all that. Bringing up some other comments as well in the chat. Kind of going back to the Alec and Jake debate. Sounds like Oscar isn't as impressed maybe by that Alec catch against Marcus Semien in the Rangers, as Oscar saying that catch had like a 70% catch probability, which is a fair point, but maybe with Jake McCarthy, he's that 30%. That's the whole point with it is Alec at least makes that play where Jake possibly doesn't. But again, we would never know because it's hard to see the exact same play replicated in a sport like baseball too often. And then another question that Red Sox Nation had earlier in the chat, they did ask, was the giveaway done ever? We did announce the winner on our last YouTube or our last podcast on Tuesday. We did have the giveaway wheel. It did pick, I believe, somebody on YouTube, which I'm not sure if they've reached out to us yet to give us information. So I'll have to give another reminder on if you have that user's name down. And if not, we can try to reach out to them personally and get that information, because we do want to give them their giveaways, and we don't want to have to redo it. I mean, worst case, if we redo it, then everyone else gets another shot. But the giveaway winner was chosen, and Corbin Barrels, you're absolutely correct. Gabe does know ball. Gabe knows.
JKen0981.
Thank you, JKen0981. If you're listening, reach out to us. Maybe leave like a YouTube comment, even if you don't know how to like email us or whatnot. Be like, hey, I won. How do I get my items? All that. Just let us know. I agree, Josh. That's treasonous comments here from our man Oscar. Especially, I'm not even gonna highlight his other comment here.
Please don't.
We can just absolutely mute him, because if we say those words, it's gonna bring out the worst kind of fans imaginable in the baseball space. But moving on into game 2, obviously game 1, like I said, the D-backs did lose. Game 2, this one, there were 2 games in one day, technically, as they did have a little split squad action. Both of their games were night games, which is always fun. Even in spring training, it's nice to see some night games. I believe usually those are the game of the days, or at least one of them is, so it's free. The rare time you actually get to watch some D-back spring training ball on TV. The first one, they did lose against the Guardians. They lost 4-0. They were shut out. Ryan Nelson looked pretty solid. He went 2 1/3. He was obviously the losing pitcher in this because the offense didn't give him anything, but he went 2 1/3 with 3 hits, 1 run, 1 home run, and 3 strikeouts. He's looked pretty solid in his short time in spring training so far here in 2025. He has a 2.08 ERA in 4 1/3 innings pitched with 1.38 whip. Christian Mena looked really solid as well. He went 2 innings, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. Christian Montes de Oca, he looked pretty solid as well. Went 1 2/3, 1 hit, 3 Ks. He has a 1.93 ERA, so maybe a dude that could maybe be a rising name in the D-back system. 1.93 ERA and 4 2/3 innings pitched in spring with a 1.29 whip. And then Ildemaro Vargas was one of the few names that at least stuck out on the offensive side. Again, when you get shut out, there's not too much that's going to kind of stick out to many people. He went 1 for 3. He is now hitting .333 with 2 homers, 5 RBI, and 11.05 OPS in just his 21 spring training at bats. A little bit more on Vargas, we'll get to in a little bit here. But topic number 1, or at least I guess the topic that we had for this game, game number 1 of the split squad from last night's games. We're going Nellyville. We're sticking with some Nelly. So with Fott struggling in his few outings and Monty yet to make his spring training debut, which hopefully we'll see in the next few days, is Ryan, again, albeit less than 5 innings pitched in spring training, small sample, but is Ryan making a strong case for his name to be the one called for in the 5th rotation spot come opening day?
So I guess, I mean, it's spring, so the actual ERAs and stuff don't matter as much as they normally would. But I highlighted this the last, or when did you pitch? Wednesday or yesterday?
Yes,
He pitched yesterday.
Okay, so then I highlighted the fact that he was only giving up singles, but they were very hard singles. A lot of those pitches
Fott pitched on.
Fott,
Wednesday, he pitched
right?
Wednesday against the Giants.
Yeah,
Correct.
so a lot of those balls were coming off 105 plus off the bat. There were singles, but they were still 105. And it was off of everything. It was off the fastballs, off of the split. It was, I think one was a changeup that he just left down the middle, but they were all very, very hard hit. And I think that's something that Pod has always struggled with. I mean, since he was in the minors, it's just he has such a heavy ball, I guess. Just the fact that if somebody makes good contact, then they hit it incredibly hard. For the most part, he was able to keep it down on the ground. Most of those singles weren't in the air, but still, I think it's something to look into. Like, as soon as these hitters are able to adjust a little bit more, put the ball in the air, you would rather have a 105 on the ground rather than in the air, because 105 in the air is probably going for a home run, or going to get a couple doubles and triples off of that. So I don't know what the answer is here, except other than we might just be patient and see how Montgomery looks. Like, there's still let's see, 20 days until the start of the season, and we haven't seen Montgomery yet, other than some backlog games. So if he comes out, and I mentioned this in the chat, like if he comes out and he's throwing a little bit harder, and there's more movement on his pitches, he might just be able to lock up that spot pretty easily. And then both Ryan and Fott have to battle it out. And as of right now, Ryan seems to be the front runner. He does throw harder. The issue with Ryan is that he's mostly a two-pitch pitcher, so he unfortunately kind of is best served in the bullpen. Although I truly don't know what the answer is here. I don't envy Tori and Mike Hazen on these situations, because you don't want to move Ryan up and down from the bullpen to a starting position. Then that's how you end up with injuries, like guys like Dre Jamison, because he was up and down, and same with Fott. Fott, I think, is too good to be just down in Reno, and I think he's not a relief pitcher either. So I don't know. I think that with the way it's looking, unless Montgomery looks exactly the way he did last year, I think he just has the spot kind of secured.
Yes, like you said with spring, there's still 20 days, so that we're so back. We've never been more back. It's so over. It's never been more over. That's literally just going to be the case for so many of these pitchers every single time they have an outing. Such small sample sizes where they could easily win a spot or lose a spot, and then win that spot or lose that spot right back the very next week. So it's going to be something that we kind of get to watch as we go along. But Brandon, same question to you. Do you think that Nelson has, at least so far, again in the short spring with Monty still yet to make his debut and fought in his struggles in his only 2 starts? Do you think that Nelson so far, at least if we're looking at the race as of today here on March 7th at 9:08 p.m., do you think that he is the front runner in the race currently?
I don't think there is one. I think we have not seen enough. And until we see Monty pitch, I don't think it's fair to really compare these three. Now, I think it's Monty's to lose, though. I think they want it. They want Monty to be that number 5 starter. There's a reason they signed him, because he is a good pitcher. I hate to say it, career-wise, he is better than Fott. Last season definitely wasn't. Fott was our literally only pitcher that seemed to be out there every 5th day. And kind of like Gabe said, Nelson really has 2 pitches, which is not what you want to see from a starter, but it's a good thing to have for a relief pitcher. So what I would personally do, and Jeff kind of brings it up here, Grayson Rodriguez, Lucas Hill, and it's actually George Kirby. All 3 of them are going to miss opening day. How long, or has Baltimore, New York, and Seattle, have they called Mike Hazen and asked about Jordan Montgomery? Because that's the one guy that, if you can trade him, it fixes a lot of what we're kind of thinking. Because then you can have Fott as the number 5 and you put Ryan as the starter. If they don't, Ryan in the bullpen. If they don't end up trading Monty, what I think they will do, I've said it before, Monty will be the number 5 starter, and Fott, because he has options, will go to Reno. I don't like it. I think it's not a good move for his development, because he's not going to be facing top tier competition. Like, he has been used to being at this level for a year and a half? Like, he pitched half in 23, really, and then a full season of 24. So, and I've been this way all off season. Mine was trade Montgomery. Gabe was like, let's wait and see. Because of his prior history, we've seen that he is a good pitcher. I don't know. Like, I just feel like if they want to improve this team, trading Montgomery is the way to go. I love Brandon Fott. Like, what he showed last year, being the guy every fifth day, was a big thing for me.
Yes, it's definitely. I'm still on the train with Gabe. I don't want to see Monty traded necessarily. I'd rather keep. Again, they at least have options. It would suck. It obviously would be terrible. I don't want to see Fott or Nelson necessarily in Reno, but I think that in the long run, it would just be probably better for the team to, like, especially if Monty can be back to his 2023 kind of success. I think it's better just because you have a nice balance. You got 2 lefties, 3 righties in the rotation. And again, there's a reason why we signed him to that extension, why we were all so hyped. I remember literally twerking and shaking, throwing that ass back when we signed Monty because of how hyped I was to have that dude. I did it here. Go look at the video back when it happened. It was a fun time here on Dbacks Dispatch. Before
So
we
I,
had
I
to deal
yeah, I
with it
kind of want to
periodically.
like talk about Jeff's comment as well. So Grayson Rodriguez is with the Orioles and Luis Hill is with the Yankees. Those are 2 teams that could be in the World Series. Do you want a healthy Montgomery in the World Series against your team? If the D-backs make it, I don't feel happy about that. Like, they still have Rodon, they have Garrett Cole, and if they have Monty on there in a short series, a 7-game series, I mean, it's going to be pretty difficult. I think it's going to end up being like whoever just has more firepower at the end of the day. Same with the Orioles, although the Orioles, I think, because of their
They
lack
need
of
to
moves,
score in the postseason before we even say
yeah,
go make the World
but
Series.
but they're still a very good young team.
They
Like,
are.
that's
They
kind of their
are.
issue. That they're a very young team. I think their average age was like 24 last year or something like that. So, uh, like I said, I think for those 2 teams, I wouldn't make this trade just because of the possibility they could improve enough to make it to the World Series and make it to the playoffs and everything. So I wouldn't want to face them, especially if Montgomery's on there. But maybe for Kirby, I mean, Mariners, I think they didn't do any real moves either.
Justin
So
Turner blasted them the other day
for
for
yeah,
He
basically
Justin
did.
Turner,
nothing.
no, for them not doing anything, they have a great pitching staff over there, and George Kirby is, a Cy Young candidate every single year. And replacing him with Monty, I think it's going to be a downgrade, but it's enough to get them through most of the season. So I wouldn't feel bad about that sort of trade. But again, I would rather have 2 lefties and 3 righties. And Montgomery, I believe, even said you don't get through the full season with your 5 starting pitchers. At some
Yeah.
point, one of these guys is going to go down. And we've seen with Merrill Kelly his issues with cramping as soon as it gets hot in Chase Field. We still haven't had any word about them fixing the AC properly, so
It's
he
been at
might
least some
end up
positive
cramping.
news with the build that we can touch
Yeah,
on in a future podcast.
yeah. But again, they're not going to be able to get through the full season with just those 5 guys. So at some point, Brandon and Ryan are going to be able to get spot starts, and they're going to be able to show out and come into playoff time. They're 2 guys that you can use as well. So it's a good problem to have, but I think as of right now, just because of the value that Montgomery doesn't have, I wouldn't make a trade yet. I think closer to August, if he's showing that he has, a very low 4s, mid 3s ERA, I think there would be a team that's willing to trade for him, especially if they end up losing one of their big guys.
Yes, come August, give me a Monty for Andres Munoz trade. I'll take it. Thank you, Mariners. We love
Why
getting
not
deals.
do that now? Why not
There's
do that
because
now?
like Gabe said, he doesn't have the value to get Andres Munoz at the current time. Like, yes, the Mariners might be desperate, but the Mariners, I mean, I know he's not a
It's
George Kirby.
Seattle. I'm just saying he's in Seattle.
I mean, I
You
know, but
never
I know it's not he's not a George Kirby S type pitcher, but they still have like Brian Wu. If he steps up, he could be at least a solid replacement. Like, I feel like they still have some arms that they'd rather, kind of like what we were talking about earlier with the whole Jake and Alec thing, is like, do you have the internal options that you at least feel somewhat comfortable with currently, kind of filling in that spot until you know exactly what you're dealing with? I feel like that's what teams are going to be like versus, especially it's even with the value, the D-backs would probably be like, hey, we're gonna want you to take, like, at least half, if not all of his contract, where teams might want to balk at that just because they don't want to pay a guy if they don't know what they're going to be getting. So like Gabe said, I think it's a good problem to have. Definitely going to be one of those where it'll be something that we monitor all season. Hopefully the D-backs are in a position where we don't have to deal with many pitching injuries. Maybe Monty does get back to his 2023 form, and then we all look back at this, hopefully as they're parading down in downtown Phoenix in November, and we're like, man, who would have thought that we would have been thinking about trading Jordan Montgomery as they hopefully hoist the the World Series trophy, the Commissioner's Trophy. But again, that's just some wishful thinking at the moment. Not saying it's out of the realm of possibilities, but definitely something we'll have to kind of monitor all season. But like even Gabe said, good problem to have. And I think that it'll be something that Hazen's always going to be looking for something. He's always going to keep his ringer on. He never says no on many guys unless it's Cattell, Jordan Lawler, and Corbin Carroll. Exactly. So there's always going to be some potential trades open. You just gotta get the right names in front of Hazen for him to say yes. But going on to Game 3, the D-backs finally did win one of these 3 games that happened. This one was a little bit close. It was a 4-2 going into the 7th inning where the D-backs kind of blew things open, and they ended the final score at 11-4. Cattell Marte looks like he's kind of getting out of his spring slump, and he wasn't hitting too well, but he did go 3 for 4. He had 2 singles in this game. That was absolute piss missiles. One that he had at 108, and then one that he had at 116 miles an hour. I don't know what it is with the D-backs and their exit velocities this spring. They have been just absolutely killing the ball. Jordan Lawler, get a little bit more on him in a second. He went 2 for 4 with a triple, 104 exit velocity. His spring numbers, he's got 5 hits, a double, triple, homer, 1 walk, and 18 at bats. He's hitting and slashing 278, 316, 611 for a 927 OPS. Josh Naylor seems like he is fitting in just fine. He is doing really well. He went 2 for 3 with an RBI. His spring stats, he's 10 for 22 with 4 doubles, which if you guys go back to our episode that we had with Dalton Feely, he did say that Josh Naylor, one of his maybe not predictions or not one of his hot takes, but one of his predictions, Josh Naylor, maybe having like 40 doubles, taking a step back in the home run category, but still at least providing some offense there. So maybe some good signs to come. Maybe we're gonna have to clip that out and hopefully have Dalton, kind of do a little parade and, going around like I was right. But Naylor slashes up to 455, 458, 636 for a 1094 OPS. Yilbert Diaz looked really good in this one. He had 2 innings, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. He made Julio look foolish. No Bailey. Was absolutely dicing him up. Was genuinely made Julio look like a minor leaguer with his stuff. His curveball, his fastball was just nasty. And Drew Jones, a name that we've not been able to talk about too much here in spring, other than a few moments here and there. He went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run, and a very, very goofy running stance that we'll highlight in a little bit here. But going into the first topic I had here of Game 3 is laying down the Lawler. So there was a quote from Torey Lovullo, which we've even talked about before, where it seems like Jordan Lawler, shot a puppy in front of Lovullo and Hazen, where they just did not like anything about Lawler, or just were holding something over him, basically holding him hostage and not allowing him to, spread his wings and learn how to fly. But there were some comments from Torey that I got from Jack Sommer's recent SI article I put out this morning. Torey was quoted saying, "So I think that's kind of our thinking, getting him repped out over there at third base." Well, interesting. Keep that in mind. That's what I want to say. And look, he's fighting to make the team, so anything's possible to happen. He might be our backup infielder. We will have to get him repped to second base, but we've talked about doing that a little bit later in camp. So definitely a little bit of change in tone when in regards to Jordan Lawler. It's definitely going to be tough, especially even with a guy like Ildemaro Vargas, which we'll get to in just a second here. But the question that Brandon kind of had cooked up for you guys, he crafted up this one, tweaked it a little bit, but he was wondering even though it's only been obviously 18 at-bats, is Jordan Lawler on track to do enough to kind of force Torey and Hazen's hand in putting him on the MLB roster come opening day? Or is he still better suited at being on the A's or the Aces AAA roster in Reno to kind of start the season to make sure he's getting those consistent everyday at bats? And then a follow up to that one as well, kind of if we want to get in the same sentence, is Ildemaro Vargas and his hot start to spring training going to be the biggest obstacle in Jordan's way of making the opening day roster?
So you have to get the quote right, Brett. You have to say anything is possible.
You're right.
To quote Torey. But yeah, I think I think anything is possible. Like in this case, we've talked about it before. We don't have a third baseman of the future, and we don't have a first baseman of the future right now. So that's a spot that's open to most of these guys, especially these infielders. Jordan Lawler being about 6'4", great defender. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the game yesterday. Some of those plays that he was making were just disgusting. Like anything hit to him, he's just a steel trap out there. He just gets everything. He makes the right plays. He makes the hard plays. He makes the easy plays. He's just a really great defender, and we've seen him get some reps at third base, along with Gino. And again, Gino's not going to be on this team next year as of right now, so he could be being groomed to take that position from him eventually, and then maybe Marte moves off of the second base position. So there's a couple of positions for him to be able to take this spring, and then I I do think Torrey is changing his tone with him. He is clearly changing his mind on him, and I think that Lawler is going to be able to force their hand. I mean, he's batted well over a 900 OPS so far. And I do think overall his numbers, I think if you look at these numbers, 278, 316, 611, I think that's going to be pretty close to what he's probably going to do this season. I mean, he's probably going to adjust probably get some more walks, get a higher on base. But he's been batting very well. He's been he's making all the plays that short as well. So I think he's going to be able to force his team to give him a spot somewhere on the major league roster. And I just think they have to be able to give him a spot so he's able to get 350 at bats, 400 at bats, like enough for him to qualify for Rookie of the Year. Because if you're going to have him be a Rookie of the Year candidate, you have to give him enough time to actually be the Rookie of the Year. Because I mean, there's Sasaki. I think he's probably going to be the runaway favorite so far. But if Lawler can get that spot and they can win Rookie of the Year again, get another draft pick, like this team is going to be set up for the future even more so than they already are. So I think he's doing a very great job, and I think overall, if you just see him play the way I've called him a 5-tool player before, and I think he is the only 5-tool player in the system. And him and Drew Jones that we can get to a little bit later, but the way he runs, the way he takes his bases, and the defense and the power and everything else that he has, I think he's going to be able to force his way onto this team. And in terms of Vargas, I would give it a couple more weeks, maybe, just because I said earlier, he played winter ball, so he's more ready than a lot of these guys are. He is catching up to these fastballs more than most of these guys are. So maybe at the end of the spring, his numbers might look a bit different.
Sorry, I'm muting myself. Yeah, I'm very happy seeing these comments from Tori Lavello. I'm very happy. I'm very happy with my Lawler collection. My Lawler and J Mart agendas are thriving. They've never been more thriving. And we are so goddamn back, and I'm so hyped about it. But yeah, if he makes a roster, I think that'd just be super hype for the fan base, for himself. I know even at the MLB party, he's made comments where he's trying to do everything in his power to make the MLB roster and stay on the MLB roster the entire season. And I think personally for me, the thing that kind of stood out the most in Tori's comments was the fact that he was saying, maybe we'll have to get him some reps over at third base. Obviously, again, I know it's spring training. Even like you said, hitters are a little bit more behind. Putting on my tinfoil hat, I don't want to start the Pavin hate agenda, I guess, necessarily unprovoked. But if Pavin keeps struggling the way he's doing, maybe they try to, obviously Naylor's still going to be one of our main day first basemen, but maybe a way to get Jordan some more consistent ABs is either throw, Naylor as the left-handed DH. You keep Grichuk as the right-handed DH. You can slot Gino in over at first base, and then Lawler at third. Or you leave Naylor at first. You slot Gino in as the right-handed DH, and you have Lawler playing at third, or even as second base if you want to put Cattell as DH. There's some interesting points in what he brought up that I kind of stood out to me a little bit that it was like, all right, did somebody did one of the fans kidnap Tory and impersonate him at the press conference? Because that just seemed like some very non-Tory-esque comments about Jordan Lawler. But very happy to hear it, and I think that it's going to be really exciting if he makes the MLB roster. But Brandon, I know you're the one that kind of had this question cooked up and it was in your mind. So what are your thoughts on everything on Jordan Lawler? Do you think that he has indeed or at least has a good chance of actually making the roster? Or do you think that it's going to be one of those where he still has a little bit more to prove? Obviously, there's 20 days left, so you think there's still a little bit more to prove to fully, kind of earn that roster spot on the MLB or on MLB?
I want to comment to what you said about Pavin Smith. What about Trey Mancini? He's looked decent. He can play first base. He can play DH. So that's something for everyone to think about. Because I'd rather, no offense to Gino. When was the last time Gino played first base? And has there been any reports that he's been taking ground balls at first? So it's just the one thing. But I've been the way Lawler played last night, I was like, wow, he looked so good, made great plays on defense. There was a ball hit up the middle that Garrett Hampson made a fantastic diving play at, and Lawler just comes out of nowhere to get the out at second to complete the play. So, oh no, what are we gonna do?
I say apparently he's never actually played first base. He's only been a DH, a shortstop. He was a shortstop a little bit in Detroit. Same with the Reds, but it was basically third base, shortstop, and DH. So I guess the first base option is probably not on the table.
So I think we all suggested it because he plays third base, so we figured can't be that hard to transition over. But if he didn't do anything this offseason with it, or he hasn't done anything in spring, I really don't want him over there at first base. Personally, but this freaking comment from Tori, I'm like, you finally are getting over the fact that he made one mistake in 2023. I can understand you kind of holding it against him early on in 24, but he didn't play. You gotta give him a chance, and it looks like he is, and Lawler is proving that he is worthy of that. He's just I love it. I love that comment. It's such a great comment. But no, Lawler, I like the idea of kind of what we said. He becomes the utility infielder. He can play third, short, and in the quote said, maybe they give him reps at second and give Cattell either a day off or have him DH. I want to make sure that we have a backup first baseman on, an actual first baseman, whether that's Pavin or Trey Mancini. I know Vargas can play first base, but it's not what he's done most of his career. That's why I would rather it be Pavin or Trey Mancini there. So, and the whole thing with Vargas, I think it's between Vargas and Garrett Hampson, personally, for that utility spot. I think they both have played really, really well. And the fact is, Hampson can also play center field. So he also, late inning, pitch run, chaos, D-backs, I feel like Hampson just fits better for that. So I really, really, really hope Lawler does. I just want them to give him a chance. Don't be nope, he's going to Reno. I'm glad that we had this comment come out from the Jack Summers article. They are giving him an opportunity. And he's only had one, I would say, bad defensive play. And it wasn't really his fault. The pitcher just didn't get over in time. But from all things, he's done really, really well. So.
Yeah, so it's definitely been nice to see. Even like Gabe said, I didn't get a chance. I was at a concert last night, so I didn't get a chance to actually watch the game. So I'll have to kind of go back and see some of the highlights of Jordan Lawler defensively. But that is something that we've even mentioned. That's one of the reasons why he was drafted so highly, even out of high school, taking number 6 overall in the 2021 draft, is his speed. He's got a 70 grade speed. His defense, he's got a killer arm. He has great range. More about that clip right there in that middle right there that we'll get to in a second. But he's got great range. It just seems like, I think he's going to be a superstar. This is the reason why, after the Perdomo extension, people were talking about trading him, in the nicest way possible. Stephen A. Smith quote, what is it? Stay off the
weed.
damn weed. Like we're not trading Jordan Lawler. Like this dude has got superstar potential in the making. Pairing him up with guys like Corbin Cattell, for the next like 5-6+ years, he's going to be lethal. So definitely some great comments. Definitely a nice turn and change of pace, considering how it seemed like the team thought of him previously. And it'll be fun, especially if he can, maybe not be one of the first cuts in spring, and he can actually be. Also, does look like his stance is a little bit different. I know there's a viral tweet that happened where it's like, oh, it's like, wonder what guys are thinking about, and then it's like the tweet about it's like Jordan Lawler's stance looks a little bit more open than it did last year. Just funny things like that only baseball fans kind of pay attention to, because we're a little bit tistic. We like to pay attention to basically every little thing we possibly can.
He's only 22. I think to a certain extent, maybe just because we drafted him in 21, and with how crappy that year was, we just focused so much on the future. And at that point, I remember everyone was so focused on guys like Corbin Carroll and Alec Thomas, Stone Garrett, Jake McCarthy. Like, we're all looking towards the future rather than look at the team we had at that point. And he's so young. He's only 22. He turns 23 midway through the season. Most guys don't even come up until they're in their mid-20s. So he's developing really, really well. And if they give him another year in the minors, I don't think it's the end of the world. But I do think at some point they're going to have to decide what they're going to do with him. And it seems like they're finally coming up with an actual plan for him. And again, he's incredibly young. And I think, as Brett was saying, he is a superstar in the making. And just having both him and Corbin Carroll, like these two incredible young superstars on the same team, it's like, it is truly built, not bought, like the Dodgers.
Damn right. We don't do deferrals unless it's for Corbin Burns, but we're not going to talk about that because that doesn't fit our agenda right now.
I will say this is my favorite drink. Like my favorite drink is the drink that Pavin Smith haterade.
Yeah, my wife likes to. She knows my thoughts on Pavin Smith, so she likes to not necessarily get under my skin, but she likes to play devil's advocate and be like, no, don't worry, you guys are just being haters on Pavin. He's a great player. She's even said before that because I have my Corbin Carroll jersey hanging up. She's like, you're just upset that he's better than Corbin Carroll, and I'm like, okay, now you're just speaking blasphemy. But I know she's doing it all out of love. But I do also, I know you highlighted it a second ago there, Brandon. But Jeff makes a fantastic point here, and I think we can all agree. The best version of this team includes Lawler. Obviously, we don't know exactly what part of the formula he fits in, even like Tori was saying, whether that's third, second, not exactly sure. But I do agree that he just brings, like, he's an elite bat. Like, if he's coming off the bench and he can provide like really well, even like better than like Kevin Newman, he's got more power, he's got more pop, he's got more speed. Like that's just a more well-rounded team in my opinion, and it'll be a really fun, exciting 2025 if he is on the MLB roster. Not like it wouldn't be without him, but it'll just be a little bit more. It's like hey, Sundays are good, but if you add a little bit of extra, something to that Sunday, it makes the Sunday even better. But kind of going back to what I was talking about with that clip there of Jordan Lawler's RBI triple, this kind of cracked me up. Like when at the concert, I was noticing in this clip, I was like, man, Drew Jones runs a little bit funky. Lieutenant Dan out there, I got you some ice cream. He looks like he is just taking like half strides. Like this clip is even slowed down, but he looks kind of like those guys in like PE back in the day when you're playing like wiffle ball or baseball, where they're like super athletic guys in general, but whenever they're running, they just look like they're just a little bit silly. Again, he flies. I'm not denying that. And we were talking about in the pre-show, maybe he's just taking like shorter strides. Maybe the team is kind of like, I think Gabe brought up, maybe the team is just trying to have him be like, hey, don't go 100%. Like, especially I believe he had a little bit of lower body injury issues either last year or the year before. So maybe they're just trying to be like, hey, slow your roll. You're not making the team out of spring training. Just show us what you got. So again, he was scoring easily on that no matter what. But I did get a kick out of seeing him run like that, because that was I don't know. It looked a little bit goofy. I cannot lie. Gabe in a group chat posted the gif of what's his name? Forrest Gump. Thank you. I third time today I've forgotten his name, but it looked like Forrest Gump kind of running out there on the bases.
Yeah.
So did you guys kind of like again? I'm not the first one to notice it, but I'm just glad he's okay. But it was goofy. It caught my eye. I even showed my buddy Brad at the concert, and he was like, "Why is he fucking running like that? Like he's
Yeah.
like
And
a
it threw me
baby
off too
gazelle."
when I first saw it. I was like, oh, like he just. I mean, the crazy thing is, I believe he made it from first to home. It wasn't like it was a double or anything.
Easy.
And with those sort of strides, I'm like, oh my god, all right. He's just like, I don't know. He looks like he's running like in slippers or something, like in gym class, like just in those Nike slippers, and he still makes it from first to home, like super easily. So I don't know. He's I'm excited for
He's
him
6'4",
again.
so he's just tall.
He's just tall. He's lanky. He's a child still. He's barely 21. He turned 21 in November. So I don't know. Maybe just still getting used to his body or something. But I am gaining some confidence in him because, I mean, just the fact that the team is willing to put him out there. Usually, you don't always see guys who have been drafted this early on out there. And he showed that he seems ready for the season, especially like I guess the minor league season. But I think he's going to progress really, really quickly. And like I mentioned earlier when we were talking about McCarthy and Alec, Drew is on the verge, I think, also of being a 5-tool player. And just the fact that we can have him and Jordan Lawler on the same team, man, I'm gonna bust.
Yeah, so we're gonna need a cleanup crew. Our pants. But Gabe kind of already alluded to it and gave us his answer. But Brandon, same question to you. Obviously, outside of Drew, looking a bit funny as he's rounding the bases while he's running. Are you getting more confidence in his game, or do you still need to see more out of him to be fired up about his prospect stock? Kind of like what Jeff is even talking about, maybe like stance changes, just pulling the ball a bit more, or just power in general. Are you kind of on the same boat that Gabe and I were? You're still hyped and you're still excited to see what Drew can do in the minors come 2025.
Yeah, Drew, like we all knew he was not going to make this team out of spring. I won't go as far and say he's not on this team this year. But if he does it, this is why. Kind of what Jeff is saying. His stance, it's so weird. If you look at his spray chart, you thought he was a left-handed hitter. All he does is go the other way. That's all he does. And he still had an OPS last year of 814. His upside. I know everyone was like, oh no, is he a bust because Jackson Holiday came up so quick? But then we heard the quote from Mike Hazen about young guys with righty and lefty pitchers. It makes sense. A lot of these young right-handed hitting hitters take a while to develop compared to the lefties. Because if you see, Juan Soto came up super fast. Jackson Holiday came up super fast.
Bryce Harper.
Jackson Merrill came up really, really quick. There's a lot of these big young prospects in the game that lefties. And I know everyone's like, oh no, is he a bust? And then he did what he did last year and everyone completely changed their tune. I've been like, let's wait and see. Like Gabe said, the dude's 21 years old and he's recently 21 years old. But I do want to see him make those, at least show progress he's working on adapting his swing. Because if he can fix that and if he can become a 5-tool player, just thinking of that outfield with him, Corbin Carroll, and then whoever they want to put in left, whether that's Jake or even put Alec in left, or they could put Drew in left, whoever I think upside wise, I think Drew probably could be a better center fielder. So I just like he's 21 years old. We don't need him in this outfield right now. Like there are so many other guys that are way like he's probably like what 5 or 6 in terms of this team's farm system in terms of a outfielder that we'll probably see first. So like we don't need him, but just show signs that you're working on fixing that swing, because that's his, like if he can fix that swing or show that he's working on it, watch out. Like he could be something special.
It does look like, I'm looking up the list right now. It does look like obviously has dropped a little bit. He is now currently the Dbacks number 7 overall prospect. The top 10 currently: Jordan Lawler, Demetrio Crisantis, who we got to see in the split squad game yesterday. Slade Caldwell. The D-backs just love their under 6 foot fast lefties. Gilbert Diaz, Adrian Del Castillo at 5. Ryan Waldschmidt. I love hearing anybody with the Schmidt name as a D-back. Brings back some good memories. Drew Jones at 7. Tommy Troy 8. Yancel Luis at 9. And then Lou James Groover, which we all know him as Gino, rounding out at number 10. So definitely seen his draft stock drop a little bit. But I think that a solid showing in the minors this year, get those power numbers up, the pull numbers up, kind of balance a little bit more throughout the stream or throughout the spray chart. As John, welcome in, John. Appreciate you joining in.
This is our winner. This is our winner. So John,
okay.
Send us an email. Diamondbacksdispatch@gmail.com. You won the giveaway. Send us an email, and then that way we can work out the details of getting you all that great stuff that you won in the giveaway.
And don't go to Dallas, John.
It's spelled differently, but okay, yeah.
Oh God, especially with Dallas, like they're just. I wouldn't be surprised with the way the Maverick season has been going, trading away Luka and then having Kyrie's knee explode. That entire city, I think, is
Hey, Suns fans, you think you have it bad? You don't. Dallas has it worse.
No. And they're still, I believe, ahead of us in the standings. But don't worry, we're not here to be sad about Suns basketball. We are here to still be psyched about the D-backs and their upcoming 2025 season. Again, appreciate everybody joining in here tonight. We do have a little bit more of split squad action tomorrow, as the D-backs, they're not just split squad in just Arizona, as they're going to Vegas to play the Sacramento, or former Oakland, now currently Sacramento A's, soon to be Las Vegas A's, which sucks so much dick for A's fans that the second that they're out of Oakland, their owner finally spends money and breaks the Eric Chavez contract record like 3 different times. Like, good for the team, sucks for the fans. That's a whole tangent we can go on. But the D-backs do have 2 games tomorrow. They will be playing here in Arizona in a split squad against the Cincinnati Reds. Looks like they're not going to have guys like Domo, Cattell, Naylor. Looks like Lawler, like those guys. I believe they did make the trip out to Reno. So hopefully, I'm going to be there at the D-backs Reds game. Maybe
you mean Vegas?
Vegas, yeah, not Reno. Thank you. They did all make the trip out to Vegas, so we're going to see some split squad action. But the D-backs will take on the Reds at 1:05 p.m. And then the D-backs will also take on the A's out in Las Vegas at 2:05 p.m. And I believe that is the MLB free game of the day. So should be watchable, which will be fun. We'll get to see some more Jordan Lawler in action, so that's going to be an absolute blast. If you do go to the D-backs and Reds game tomorrow, and you see me, I know me and the wife are going to be there tomorrow. Paven Smith's #1 fan. She's going to be in person. So we're going to be there talking some, or if you see me, feel free to come talk some Snakes ball. We'll be behind, I believe, the D-backs dugout. Going off of the SeatGeek map or wherever I got the tickets, it looked like the Reds and Guardians had their own separate dugouts. So I'm hoping, obviously, if we're facing the Reds ballpark, the Reds will be in the one that said Reds on the dugout. But I know that the Reds in their own ballpark in Cincinnati, I believe they do I think they're in the opposite one, so I'm not sure what their setup is. Either way, if you see me at the game, let me know. Say what's up. Always love talking to you guys. But we do get a little bit more D-backs action, and it seems like what Brandon's saying in our group chat, that both games are on TV. So not only do we get spoiled with one watchable D-back spring training baseball game, we get 2. And 2 is better than 1.
It's not a D-backs broadcast, but it will be broadcasted with video, which is all that matters, is we get to watch it.
Sorry. I just want to say buy stock in this Oakland A's team. They're going to be very, very good this year.
Lawrence Butler signed that
Dude.
massive extension. Dude killed it last year. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if dark horse wildcard team.
The
I
one
think
nice
they
thing
are
about
gonna
the
get
A's
their
spending
wild
money
card.
is hopefully we don't have to hear every single team, which we were guilty about it last year. Don't get me wrong. Is hopefully we don't have to hear every single team doing what Yankees fans do with every single MLB prospect and being like, all right, take my pile of trash for Mason Miller, please. Thank you. I would like Mason Miller on my team. So hopefully we don't have to deal about that, which I'll be happy. The A's are my second favorite team. It just sucks for the city of Oakland, but it'll be a very interesting game as the A's play, I believe, their first game in Vegas. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of that in the future as they still have not broken ground on their ballpark and they only have a few more years to go. So that's going to be a very fun development that will.
Yeah, there was also sorry, we get to one of the Red Sox Nation. She had a question, but I don't know if you saw the concept art. The roof is white. Like, good luck catching any fly balls there. Jesus Christ.
I feel like they used AI to make that shit, and I've seen like 3 or 4 different renderings. I also didn't like that because it looked like there were 5 different levels. Like it's not like the Dbacks anymore. You have like the field level, you have the 200s and the 300s. It looked like there was literally 5 different sections, which I'm like, okay, like let's be real here. That shit's ugly as hell. First off, 2. It looked like for only 30,000 seats, which I did see some reading. Pretty cool. It sounds like they're getting every single seat, or maybe not every single, but they're going to have under-seat cooling, which, hey, D-backs, if you're going to do renovations, take some notes from the A's because I would love to have under-seat cooling, even if it's in just the 200s. Please give it to me. Like any little bit is so much better than the swamp ass that I get to deal with in the middle of fucking July and August games in Arizona. But so you said we had a question in the Discord, I believe.
It's the same one that she posted right here.
Okay, perfect.
Basically, asking any news on Alex Verdugo. I haven't heard anything. The last thing I saw was Pirates were about to offer him $8 million before they signed Tommy Pham. 1 year, $8 million. I don't know if he's asking for too much or what. And it's weird because he was the big centerpiece to the Mookie Betts LA Boston trade.
Dude, man, that fuck you, Red Sox. God damn it. Why did you have to curse us for years to come? My goodness. The Dodgers just have the most insane talent. Especially, I mean, dude, the guy's initials are MLB. And like they're expecting, like, you just give him the money he was worth and you would have, kept one of the best players. If your initials are MLB, you're going to be good at baseball, but my goodness, I wish we could revisit that trade, go back in time, and somehow change the past, because who knows, maybe they're not as good as they were. A top prospect he was.
So this is kind of what I think it was Nugget or Jeff that brings it up in the Discord a lot. People are like blindsided because it's the Dodgers and top prospect. Like like a lot of their top prospects are probably more like they're decent, but they're not like franchise changing top prospects that like a Drew Jones would be or Jordan Lawler would be. Like it's just because it's the
I mean, like there has to be some sort of media bias. I mean,
we
also,
see Jeff Passan's tweet. We know there's a media bias.
Yeah, I mean, Red Sox Nation. She sounds like Yoda. Top prospect he was, but that's how they are with all those prospects. Like Gavin Lux, supposedly, top prospect in baseball. They're never going to trade him, and he's like in Cincinnati, like barely even having a roster spot right now. Like, when was the last time the Dodgers produced an actual great prospect? It was Will Smith and Cody Bellinger, which was a part of like the last regime, like 2019 or so, when both of them came up. Or I mean, Cody came up earlier, but I mean, like,
because they keep trading their top guys,
top prospects, and they don't do anything. None of these guys have been anything in years.
I mean,
Josiah Gray
and Keibert Ruiz,
they were their top prospects, and they
decent players, but not like if any other organization, they would not have been top prospects.
They are role players. They are like, I guess for me, when I think top prospects, with most teams, they are franchise altering players. Usually, like, but the Dodgers, when they let these guys go, like, they're a lot of them are role players. Like
Dodgers do what the D-backs do with the Mariners. The Dodgers just do with every single team in the league, apparently. Where they're like, hey, can we interest you in a fleece trade, please? We'd like to fleece you, but this isn't the we can go on tangents forever. This is not a Dodgers podcast. This is a D-backs one, and we are going to be here all spring and all regular season to talk D-backs ball, and we are excited to have you guys along the ride with us. Again, if this is your first time in here, appreciate if you guys could like, comment, subscribe. It really does help. Even as Corbin Barrels was saying, 6 likes is criminal. Hit the like. We would appreciate it. It truly does mean the world to us. It helps us out. Gets our show in front of more D-backs fans like your guys' selves. So it would go a long way. Make sure you guys also, again, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Blue Sky. Got banger memes over on both of them. Join the Discord, should be in the description. A whole bunch of people that you are probably seeing here in the YouTube chat and all that. A lot of them, if not all of them, are over in the Discord already. So join the Discord, say what's up to us. Especially the nice thing is over there, you guys are always more than welcome, at least for myself. You can always DM me if you have a question on the side. Corbin Barrels has done it before, and I'm always open to it. Or even just in our channel itself, if there's questions that you guys want to ask us, thoughts, even if you guys are out of town visiting Chase Field for the first time, anything like that. Great place to ask any questions, especially if it's regarding food at Chase Field. You're going to want to ask Gabe because he's got some strong opinions on Chase Field cuisine. So make sure you guys join the Discord. Make sure you guys also go check out all the stuff over on azsnakepit.com. As we get into the regular season, we'll have a bunch more recap articles and whatnot for the podcast on there, but we do have a bunch of great writers over on AZ Snake Pit that have a lot of great insight, a lot of great opinions, a lot of differing opinions too, which is nice. So you don't have to worry about basically hearing like an echo chamber of the same thing. It's just a great D-backs community over there in general. Cannot speak highly enough of it. So make sure you guys go over to azsnakepit.com. But again, in the meantime, we should be live, I believe, next, not a full set date. It should be sometime next week. We're trying to get you guys 2 shows a week here. So again, we appreciate each and every single one of you guys for stopping by, hanging out with us, talking some Snakes ball. And again, if you see me at spring training tomorrow, let me know. And we'll see you guys on the next time of D-backs Dispatch.
It's the D-backs Dispatch. Yeah, brand new red game, Josh on the floor. West Coast vibes, catch us on the air. Home run dogs, diamond gems, we share. Brandon was a stat, Caesar man was a plan. Red braces down, tells it like it is, man. Gabs on fire, brings the heat every time. Josh on the mix, keep the beat so prime. I got the insight, 7 weeks ahead. Tune in, D-backs Dispatch, this is it. Now we rolling. D-backs Dispatch, yeah. Talk to Brandon, Brandon Gabe, this is Big Catch. Josh on the mix, he makes the beats. West Coast vibe, got the G fucking the bad. The home Mac, the home Mac, the home Mac, home Mac. D-backs Dispatch, we hit the stage. Yeah, catch us every week, we bring the flavor out to it. We got the home Mac, the home Mac, the home Mac, home Mac. D-backs Dispatch, we hit the stage. Catch us every week, we bring the flavor out to it.